All right, so a quick tip. Sometimes when you have these type of worm bins that are stacking, this one is the Worm Farm 360. When you get down to your bottom tray, which I now have in this bucket, I've already taken it out. When you want to put the worm castings into your bed, you're always going to have some worms in here. So some of them don't crawl up. You see you kind of have a few worms in there buried in the worm castings. They're supposed to usually crawl up. Once you start adding foods into the new trays on top, they're supposed to crawl up and eat the food in those trays, and then it'll leave you the worm castings here, and you dump them into your garden. But there's always going to be a few stragglers in there. But that's okay, because what I do is I just find the big worm clusters, and I just add them back into these trays here, and then I just take this with some worms, and I just sprinkle it back into my garden. The worms that I lose sprinkling into the garden is going to get replaced by the worm eggs that are in the other trays. So I don't too much worry about it. But it's good to get red wrigglers in the garden anyway. So it's a great way. So I put them on some of my favorite plants and let the worms bury in the ground. And then magic starts to happen. That black gold starts to do its thing. So
okay, so for people who aren't as familiar with the worm bin, just walk us through really quick what this is, what's on top, you know, kind of just explain the composting.
Worms are the fastest composters that I know of. So they'll take this scraps, this chicken waste. That's the chicken. That's her fault. This is the kitchen waste. We'll take the kitchen waste and turn it into this black, gooey worm casting. And this stuff is ripe and ready for the plants to take up as nutrients. And they'll do this in about a couple of weeks. So as far as like my other composting bins, it takes them like 2 to 3 months to finally break down enough so I can give it back to the garden. Well, worms, they'll knock this stuff out in a couple weeks.
So show me how this operates. Can you pick it up and show me? So the top that's where you put your kitchen waste.
This is where I put the new waste. And so here's some older waste. Well, this is actually some of the newer kitchen waste, but here's some of the older waste as well. And then here's some of the real older waste here, and you can see how it's getting darker and darker.
That's your black gold.
That's the black gold. So probably in about another 2 or 3 weeks, I'll scrape this one up and start spreading it into the garden too. So if you guys got some other tips how you do yours, let me know, and let's keep spreading the knowledge and stay green.